Hey everyone, it's Marianne from the New York City Organization of Public Service Retirees. I want to share with you a video of Michael Mugrew.
Hi, Annie.
Why isn't the union filing an amicus brief in the Bentowski case?
On which one?
In the Bentowski case, the one that's coming up.
You talking about the mall?
Yeah, the last one.
We have given the lawyer who's running it our documentation, and we have told him he can use all of our stuff in terms of the case itself. But we are quite clear that this case, look.
Okay, first, she asked him why the union didn't file an amicus in our litigation, the last case that we have that's in the court. May 15th will be their court date. And he says to her, look, we gave everything to the lawyer. Well, that would be our lawyer. He didn't give everything to our lawyer. He and his in-house counsel, Beth Norton, filed a letter that they no longer supported Medicare Advantage due to anxiety for retirees, and that he was no longer supporting it. However, because it wasn't filed properly, it was considered like an ex parte communication. So they kicked it back and they didn't do anything about it. We got the letter and we asked the unions that had been supporting us from the beginning to add it to their amicus, since he would not. The proper way to do that would have been to file an amicus in the case or to ask one of the other amici to do it. That would have been the MLC, which is why I asked him, hey, Mike, would you put this in the case, or would you ask the MLC to file this as an amicus, withdrawing the amicus that they had put in previously in the first case? And he said, no, Marianne, I can't do that. See, no one in the MLC likes me. And I said, well, I don't really like you either, but I'm trying to help you. And this would have been the right thing to do. So when he wouldn't do it, I went to the other unions and I said, listen, can you advise the court that this is another union that did this? And they said, sure, we'll be glad to do that, because he basically screwed everybody. So he's wrong when he's telling you the way he did it. That's not how it happened, but that's a whole nother story.
We got this thing blocked one way or the other, but
and that's not true. He can't say they have this thing blocked. He cannot agree or commit or promise that the New York State Court of Appeals, there's 7 judges, will affirm this case. We hope that they will, but it's not a slam dunk.
I'm quite sure, and this is me talking to lawyers. The lawyers are like, they're not going to overturn this thing. So we have given the lawyer that.
And that's really interesting that he has lawyers willing to say that. We have 2 litigation firms with judges, and they will not even tell us this is a slam dunk and it's not getting overturned.
We still do have to work with the MLC. You understand?
You actually don't have to work with the MLC. There's many unions that have withdrawn from the MLC, and the UFT did not become an MLC participating union until the late 80s. Meanwhile, this organization has been around since, 1966?
Still have to work with the MLC. And then the other piece is, the next thing is, there's a bill in City Council that does basically what you're trying to get out of the lawsuit.
And that's not true. The bill in City Council does not do what we're trying to accomplish in the lawsuit. Even if we win the lawsuit, that bill is staying around, Mike, because the lawsuit the basis of the lawsuit is that the city can't force us into a Medicare Advantage plan and kill all of our other choices of plans. The legislation has nothing to do with that. The legislation preserves and protects exactly what we had in place, a Medicare supplemental plan paid for by the city, and prevents you from encouraging the MLC from passing backdoor premiums on to us in the forms of increasing copays and deductibles. That's really why you're fighting that bill, because you want to be able to keep passing costs on to retirees and employees. Employees, you negotiate for them. If there's an uprising, they're going to uprise you and you'll be gone. But a retiree in most unions that don't participate in their union elections, unlike the United Federation of Teachers, this is a problem. You keep passing costs on to them. You led this decision, and what did it bring? It brought the city illegally collected $53 million, which we are still litigating on in court. That's what you did.
It's different. Remember when I said it's a violation of the Taylor law to touch terms and conditions of a collective bargaining agreement? It's a violation of the Taylor law.
It can't be a violation of the Taylor law, Mike. There is no provision in the Taylor law that says exactly what you're saying. The Taylor law was meant to prevent strikes. The Taylor law empowers unions to collectively bargain for those in their bargaining unit for wages, hours, and working conditions. The Taylor law actually has a set of definitions as to who it applies to: employees and appointed titles before an employing agency. That is not a retiree, Mike. So again, you're lying and gaslighting to your own members.
Which sounds okay if you want this at this moment, but if we let this, if we sued after that happened and the court decided that it's still legal, which I do not believe would ever happen, but if they did that, I want people to think about what could happen next. They passed one law that says you can have that. You get a new mayor, a new city council, they pass another law taking everything away from you.
Well, that's really rich, Mr. Mulgrew, because always retirees were protected. You took away what we've had for over 60 years. You did that. Not the mayor, not the legislature. You did. We had to do legislation to protect ourselves from you and Henry Garrido and Harry Nespoli. That's why. We wouldn't have needed to do that had you just protected and preserved a benefit that a retired worker earned. Union or non-union, your deal screwed everybody. And that's why legislation was needed to literally protect us from the unions, which should never have been a problem. Unions always recognized, I guess before you and Henry came along, that you would never touch a retiree's benefit because we're not in your union. We don't vote on your contracts. These decisions that you're making, we have no say over. That's why. But you chose to keep passing backdoor premiums in the forms of these copays and deductibles to finance your contracts on our backs, literally, where we have no say. That's why legislation is needed. And no, it doesn't violate the Taylor law, and not you or Beth Norton or Alan Klinger or Henry Garrido, for that matter, have ever been able to say exactly what provision in the Taylor law does it violate. So I'm going to ask you, Mike, next video, make a comment, send me an email, talk to my lawyer, have Beth give us a ringy-dingy. You tell me exactly how the Taylor law would be violated by Intro 1096. I'll wait.
And there's nothing we can do about it if that precedent is set. People have to understand that. Because that piece of the Taylor law was put in to protect us.
No, Mike, it prevents the city and the union from making any unilateral changes. This isn't a unilateral change, and I'm not in your union. And the city isn't doing it, unlike what you did to us. That's a unilateral change. What you did was wrong. Actually, what you and Henry did in 14 and 18 is really an improper practice. You interfered in every union's bargaining and interfered in their negotiations. That's what you did. And you took the benefits away from their members by urging them to do this, that it had to be done so that you could get a raise for your people because you didn't have a raise for 9 years under Bloomberg. You did that. You forced all those changes onto everybody.
Because look at some of the crazy-ass governors we've had. I mean, Andrew Cuomo, honestly, no, whatever, we're doing an endorsement process when everybody's equal, blah, blah, blah. We don't care if you did tier 6 to us in the middle of the night. We don't care if you said 1,000 nasty things about teachers. We'll do an endorsement process. Andrew Cuomo, when he was governor, he took the state workers and he just said, you're all getting premiums, period. Did it overnight. So we have to have this ability to protect. And this case is the estoppel, which means you, the group that's already retired, is protected. It doesn't mean anything about future retirees.
And that's an interesting concept because we always knew he had something up his sleeve that if we won this case, he kept saying that. We're going, you know what? He's bringing this back. We may win in court and he can't screw us, but he's going to try to find a way to pigeonhole or bulldoze all of his active workers into Medicare Advantage so he can use that savings towards whatever next raise he wants. He has got to go, people. If you are able to vote in this UFT election, ballots came out today, May 1st. If you are able to vote, you have to vote out Unity. Vote out Michael Mugrew. Vote out the entire Unity caucus that has been defending this fool. You have to vote for a better contract. Vote for ABC, led by Amy Arundel. This has got to stop because this is insane.
We have to have that Taylor law to make sure that we can protect that. Okay? So no.
In case you lose, we lost.
I got the MLC. Honest.
DC 37 seems to be pretty powerful as well.
Okay, so I will just say this: they would need almost every other union would have to vote yes. Almost all of them, and I bet you DC 37 doesn't even vote yes anymore.
And that's actually not true. You wouldn't need all the unions. It's actually who's present. And at half those MLC meetings, almost nobody shows up. Sometimes, actually, there was a vote, I think we have that one on record, where you didn't show up, but Jeff Sorkin did. And they were asking for a vote, I think they wanted some legal amicus or something put in some other case against somebody else. And a vote was taken. And since you hadn't given authorization to Jeff to vote on that, Jeff didn't vote, he abstained. And all the other unions that were there actually sided with DC 37, and it was only a two-thirds motion based on the vote of who was present. That motion passed, Mike. So again, you're lying to your people.
Anymore. Just telling you. Go ahead. I'm done. We good with this one, or we got another one? Go.
I absolutely hate the way he talks to his people. I just find it rude and condescending, and it's just horrible. So for the teachers that were questioning me that Michael Mugrew didn't say that, Michael Mugrew absolutely did say that if we won in court, it would only protect a current retiree and that it wouldn't protect a current worker, a future retiree, which means he's not looking to protect you at all. He's saying it's never going to happen. That's not true either. We know there were votes where the UFT did not vote in. Either they didn't show up at the meeting or they abstained, and the motion still passed. It's a two-thirds vote motion based on those who are voting. Hard stop. Everyone, listen, enough of this. Michael Mugrew and the entire Unity chapter has to go. They have fallen way off mark. This is a corrupt styled leadership. They should not be lying and gaslighting the elderly and to the disabled. They should not be stealing healthcare, a federal public health benefit, and bulldozing their retirees into the default plan of Project 2025. And then, of course, you went on to a rant against Andrew Cuomo. So Andrew Cuomo, if you're listening, definitely Michael Mugrew doesn't like you. To everybody else, make sure you vote for the opposition slate. These are real leadership. You've been watching their videos with us. They want to make sure that their union is strong, is preserved, and represents the people for exactly what the people want. They want to hear from you. Join their Zoom calls, join their events, join their Instagram events. Be there, listen to them, listen to what they want to do, because they have been working with our organization in protecting traditional Medicare. They've been at our events. Many of their members have attended even our debate on the 17th for the mayoral debate. Please get on board. Listen, get on board. Vote out Michael Mugrew. Vote in a better contract led by Amy Arundel and her slate. And you're going to meet them here. We're booking that date real soon. You're going to meet their entire chapter, because this should be the next generation leading the United Federation of Teachers. Members first. Have a great night, everybody.
Don't speak what you don't understand. The truth is not in your command. Don't shout about what you think is fake. The decision isn't yours to make.